Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Mystic Rain again, and I'm going to be bringing you a review slash first impressions slash kind of unboxing of a new deck that I've got. The reason why I say this is because I got this deck yesterday. Before I fell asleep last night, I opened it out of impulse because I couldn't stand the idea of having a fresh unopened box of cards right next to me before I went to sleep. So I opened it, quickly flipped through, felt satisfied, and then I put it right back in the box. So I haven't actually had a chance to work with it, and yeah, I'm going to be talking about that today. Now, I'm not going to even try to introduce this deck because I just don't know how to pronounce it. I'm not going to try to butcher it. I don't know what this thing says. All I know is that this is what it looks like, and by the end of the video, if you are into it, then take a mental Snapchat of what this box looks like, and then, did I say Snapchat? Take a mental, take a mental note, just take a picture. Take a picture of what this box looks like, and then if you want it, you can go get it, because I don't know how to pronounce this person's name. Okay? So, yeah, this is a hard box. It's sturdy. It's thick and it's very, very heavy, okay? And it opens like this. So it's not a tuck box. And then when you take it out, you have your guidebook. Now, one thing I did notice is that I do like the guidebook. Anyone that knows me knows I love a guidebook that operates as an actual book. I absolutely love it. The pages are nice and glossy. The definitions are really awesome and to the point, and they're not your standard right-away definitions. It's a deeper interpretation of all the cards and what the card means, and the illustration and the printing is great. This is a beautiful guidebook. In terms of quality, in terms of how it feels, I would say that this guidebook is probably the best guidebook that I've ever had as a counterpart to a deck of tarot cards. I'm absolutely in love with it. And I feel like if you're working with this deck, it is definitely something that helps you understand what you're looking at. And you'll see what I'm saying in a minute, okay? So these cards are... Now, I'm not really a huge artist. I don't really know... You know what, maybe I should read the back. It says contemporary. Parisian contemporary artists. So I guess contemporary is maybe a form of art? I don't know. Sounds like it would be, because I feel like if it was a different form of art, the back of the box would have said it was a different kind of art. So I'm just going to go with contemporary here. And everything is very collage style as well. There's different snips of different types of imagery that goes into one card, and it's this person's interpretation of what the symbols mean and what the card should mean. So this is the back of a card, and this is longer than your standard tarot. So your standard tarot, I don't have one on me, would stop, I would say, at about here. This would be when your standard tarot would end in terms of length. And so it is definitely a lot taller and may not fit in a standard size tarot pouch slash bag slash box. Okay? So let's do a quick walkthrough. I wish that I had kept them in order, but I did no such things. So here is what the Fool looks like. And again, this is in no particular order because I didn't keep it there. But this is what the Fool looks like. To me, that's great. You've got somebody on a wire. You got all these ladders. And for me, this gives intuitive hits, right? So you can say you have a ladder. It's your decision if you want to climb the ladder to see where it takes you, if you want that to be your new beginning. If you're up there on the wire, you can decide whether you feel like it's time to come down. Do you think you're up there steady enough? If you're strong enough on the reins that you don't need to come down? Are you being a bit reckless by using the wire? Should you consider using the ladder instead? Is that a bit safer? I mean, it can be, maybe you should go out and have more fun. Maybe that should be the start of your new journey. Act like you're part of a traveling go traveling, right? So I feel like off of that, just immediately, you already have a lot of these intuitive hits, and I feel like this card deck, more than the Wild Unknown deck, for anyone that's aware of that, is a very intuitive deck. But this deck, in terms of intuition and like wanting intuitive hits, this deck for me, I feel like is your go-to deck. If you just want to read and you don't want to use logic or tarot systems, you just want to pull a card and go at what comes to you, this deck is perfect for that. I feel like it'll really exercise your intuition. This one is the Three of Winds. Now, winds in this deck is your air. Okay, we got 10 of Fire. Ace of Winds. Seven of Winds, so 7 of Swords, 5 of Winds, 5 of Swords, and then you got your Jester of Gardens. So Gardens in this deck is Earth, and your Jester in this deck is your Page. 6 of Tides. Tides are your water in this deck. So this one is the 6 of Cups. 8 of Gardens. I love this imagery. So this is your 8 of Pentacles, the diligence, the persistence, working hard, not quitting, don't give up. I love this, and I love how they depicted this as well. Temperance. You've got your 3 of Gardens. So your 3 of Pentacles, your 4 of Fire. Now I love this. So this is your 4 of Wands. This is also one of my favorite illustrations in this deck as well. 2 of Fire, Queen of Fire, Nine of Tides. Now, for anyone that has been curious about the cardstock is nice. It is slightly glossy, not so glossy that you would be afraid that it would stick together if you sat too long together, or if you were trying to shuffle. I've shuffled this deck. This deck shuffles beautifully, but it is a bit glossy. But it doesn't get to the point where it's so glossy that it feels plasticky. It almost feels more laminated than it is of gloss, of sticky gloss. Because I don't like a deck that's so glossy that it sticks together. That drives me crazy. And this is the World. How beautiful is that? How beautiful are the colors to that? Stranger of Fire. Now, your Stranger is your Knight. So this would be your Knight of Wands. Fire represents wands. Fortune. So this is your Wheel of Fortune. 10 of Tides, your 10 of Water, your 10 of Cups. Love, so this is your Lovers and the Major Arcana. Let me see, this is supposed to be, here we go, that's better. 6 of Fire, your 6 of Wands. I love that depiction as well. Justice. Now, this seems to be the one card in the deck that I don't necessarily get an intuitive hit right off the bat. But out of curiosity and a thirst for knowledge and a deck that comes with a book. Which one is that? I'm going to figure out what it means. For this one, it says, this is the first member of what can be seen as a second group of 7 major arcana cards that concentrate on the mental plane. So I'll hold it up while I read it. The 2 cards preceding it, Love and the Chariot, dealt with different aspects of individual choice. The Justice card reflects on the responsibility for all the choices we make, as well as the ramifications of every decision. It is also concerned with the ideas of equilibrium and the balance in one's life. The abstract crystalline structure is visible in the earlier Love card, now shown fragmented in disarray, are nevertheless shielded and balanced by the umbrellas whose shape plays on the forms of justice traditional scales. So I guess that's cool. I mean, I get it. I understand that the card before, see if I can find it. This is the heart. And then this is now justice. So pieces of the heart are now a fragment. It's not a heart anymore. And the idea between the umbrella is that the umbrella almost sort of protects it from the rain. And that acts as justice, sort of truth will prevail type thing. So I get the reasoning for why they chose that imagery. I'm not convinced I like the imagery, but yeah, it's deep enough. So your Ace of Cups, Queen of Gardens, I think she's beautiful. Nine of Wands, High Priestess, Stranger of Winds, so once again, strangers are knights. The Chariot, Seven of Fire, so 7 of Wands, and then the Hierophant. Now, I do like this card. I did read about it last night because there's a bat in it, so it almost, well, it's a bit off-putting when you think about the Hierophant, because the Hierophant is supposed to be like your spiritual teacher, usually represented as the Pope, and it represents tradition and systems, marriage, and things like that. And so the idea of this card that I thought was so beautiful is that you have the staircase. So you have the staircase leading up, right? The staircase is what represents the tradition. It's what represents those systematic approaches and the dogmatic approaches. But the bat is supposed to be a representation of what could happen to you if you rely too much on system and what society says that you're supposed to do, and don't rely on what your heart says and what is best for yourself. And that's where the bat comes in. And I think that that's beautiful, that you can think that you're going up the staircase because you're following the system, only for the bat to get there halfway and knock you back down to the bottom. So this one warns about the dangers of sort of following blindly and not listening to your own intelligence or following your own thought patterns. And I think that's beautiful. You got your 3 of Tides, the Empress, 2 of Wands, the Hermit, 4 of Wands, so your 4 of Cups, I love this one. Or not your 4 of Cups, sorry. Your 4 of Swords, so the meditation card. Star, the Tower. I love how in every deck you get, the Tower card is always very explicitly supposed to be the Tower card. It's always clearly the Tower card. Every other card is always up to debate in terms of how it's going to be depicted or how you interpret it. But I've noticed that the Tower card always looks like that should be a Tower card. Ace of Fire, the Moon, 2 of Tides, 5 of Fire, 8 of Tides, 8 of Cups. I love this. I love that one. The Magician. I love this one because it's almost like something is there conjuring up something. Queen of Tides, King of Tides, Jester of Fire. Again, jesters are your pages. Six of Wands, Judgment, Queen of Wands, Ten of Wands, Eight of Wands, Eight of Swords. I love this one as well. This one I think is beautiful because, you know, with the Eight of Swords, it's always the woman standing in the middle and you have all these swords around her and she's blindfolded and she's tied up. And the idea is she feels stuck because she put herself there, that there's no guards there, no one actually put her there. She put her in this position. I love this interpretation because they take it one step further, where they put her in the jail cell, but they've also given her the key. The key's on her side. She could just unlock the door and walk out. I love this card. The Hangman, and this one is the Drown, the Hangman. The Hangman is also another one of those cards where every deck you pull out, the Hangman is the Hangman. They're always hanging in some form of capacity. King of Wands, Eight of Fire. I love this one as well. Eight of Fire, Eight of Wands. Something's about to explode. Something is about to happen. I love this. King of Fire. Stranger of Tides. Once again, your stranger is your knight. So your Knight of Water. This one's the Devil. Four of Tides. Stranger of Gardens. Four of Gardens. This one's really great as well. I like this imagery too. You know, Four of Gardens is your Four of Pentacles, you know, being a control freak, you know, holding on to things, hoarding things, and he is very much considered and looks like a control freak. He's desperately trying to control himself and be his own puppeteer. I love this illustration and this depiction of that particular idea. Jester of Wands, Nine of Fire, Seven of Tides, Jester of Tides, Two of Gardens, War. So this one is supposed to be the Emperor. I love how they titled it War because Emperor is usually that divine masculine, that strong masculine, but in this card it shows you what can happen when the divine masculine goes awry, which we tend to be having a lot of these days in present day society. So I love this depiction as well. Five of Gardens, Three of Fire, Five of Tides. This one breaks my heart. So your Five of Tides, your Fives of Water, you're leaving something behind, typically is involving a relationship, and you have this woman that's here that's pregnant that seems to have lost her love, and she's standing in a cemetery around a bunch of coffins. That one makes me so sad. Seven of Gardens, Death, and last but not least, 10 of Gardens. I'm really into the imagery of this deck. This is a deck that I do want to work with a lot more in the future, but it's also a deck that I recognize that I'm going to have to spend time with and sort of develop a healthy level of respect for it, just because a lot of the deck is intuitive and I have to sort of build up my intuition in terms of the deck and allowing those two to form a relationship. But I really like this deck, and if this deck is your style, you can find it on Amazon, you can find it on eBay. They're all over eBay. Yeah, and so go pick it up. So once again, it's Mystic Rain here. If you like what you see, subscribe to my channel as always, and I will see you guys soon.